Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and Ask the Fairies card reading for the week of March 22nd through March 28th, 2021. This will be the last full week of March that we have. So let us see what the fairies have to share with us for the week of March 22nd through March 28th. And as always, I did the table swish of the cards to make sure they were good and mixed. So we're going to split the deck. Okay. So card number 1, we have the 3 of Hearts. Card number 2, we have the 10 of Hearts. Card number 3, we have the 6 of Diamonds. And card number 4, we have the 4 of Diamonds, or the South Wind in this deck. So we have Hearts and Diamonds this week, and no spades and no clubs at this time. So let's see what the fairies have to share. This reading has a little bit of a story to tell, and we're going to do it a little bit differently by starting down here at the bottom. Now this card here is called the South Wind in this deck, and this 4 of Diamonds is a card that absolutely loves to be the wind that creates all the chaos, all the craziness, such as blowing clothes off the line and blowing garbage cans down the street and that kind of thing. And it sits right now in the place where a spade would normally sit, and a spade is the earth. This card is representing everything that has taken place over the last year and the start of this year. It is the chaos and craziness that is the topsy-turvy world we suddenly found ourselves in. And this chaos continues with a great deal of hot air being blown out from many different sources. And that hot air isn't always the most honest hot air that we have experienced in our lifetimes. And it has caused many to have no grounding whatsoever. And as you can see, no spade, no earth. It is also where, with no spade and no earth, that covers our careers or our jobs. It covers where we live. It covers our money. It covers our health. It covers many areas. That's what the spade is about. Our life on earth, the physical manifestation of our life on earth. And this south wind has created absolute chaos with all of those things for us. Now this card here is the 6 of Diamonds, and it is called the Tower in this deck. And when all this first began, with all this chaos going on, and people just really weren't sure how to react to all that was happening, so they tuned in to everything that they could possibly tune into, every station that gave any information whatsoever, whether television or radio or social media or online video information. And this is where they went, and you can call it kind of the tower. They climbed the stairs to get their knowledge. And at the top, you know, that's where they could look out and see out the window, just one direction. They could see the television, they could see the radio that they could tune into, they could see the online videos, they could see, you know, the communication with their friends and family. out that window. And that's where they wanted to stay, because up in that tower, they felt safe because they were being given fantastic knowledge, and, they were being prepared for whatever was going to continue happening or how it was going to happen. Perfectly happy to be in that tower at the top and go absolutely nowhere, trusting everything that was being told to them through those mediums. Well, here we have Allegra, the 10 of Hearts, and she is blindfolded in this card. I don't know if you saw that. It's not glasses. She is actually blindfolded. There we go. And that's an indication that nothing that she would normally have thought is how she thinks anymore. Logic is not even a word in her vocabulary anymore. The only thing that she knows is what she's getting at the top of this tower, and feeling as though she is ever so safe in that position. So she's absolutely blinded to the fact that the ones with the money have removed the majority of her individuality and ability to think for herself. And again, we have no clubs here. They haven't done anything physical, yet they have. But she's been an easy mark. She's naive. And you can kind of look at this as perhaps like a teenage girl. It would be the equivalent of a teenage girl that every parent would love to raise, because she is willing to do everything she's supposed to do exactly how her parents say, with no questions asked, because she wants to stay alive. She wants to make sure her life is as perfect as it can be. Well, then we reach this point, which is the 3 of Hearts. And as we can see on this 3 of Hearts, that heart in the triangle in the bottom is all cracked, broken. Now, any 3 is a decision-making card. And with this heart card in the position where the diamond should be, there's a lot of fear. When there is no diamond, there's a lot of fear. And there's also no ability to actually see anything clearly, which is also indicated by the darkness of this card, which really stands out. Now, the problem here is, where the hearts are concerned, this card is indicative of 3 separate viewpoints, or 2 kinds of people and 1 entity, perhaps you can say. Now, we have those people who, have followed exactly how things were meant to go, how those with the money wanted it to happen, wanted things to go how they wanted things to be. And, we're just like this teenage girl, they're the perfect child. Those people now are in a position, and have been for quite some time, where they have chosen to believe all this rhetoric, but not believe their own loved ones. They're willing to forego seeing their loved ones, despite many different kinds of information out there that tell them that they don't have to do that. But like good children, they are doing exactly what they're told. And, they're doing it from their heart space. At least that is what they believe. But their heart space is down here. They are doing what they're doing out of fear and nothing else. Not that anyone would admit that, but it is fear. Fear of dying. Fear of, supposedly giving something to someone else. But in fact, it's more having someone give something to you. And on the other hand, those people who did not buy into all of this and realize that it's been, chaos that should have never happened. They are having a hard time because their decision is, we need to walk away from those people who are so tight into this belief and willing to do anything, including turning their neighbors, turning their own family members, because that's how much lack of logic there is in that life at this time. So there are people who are choosing these people over their loved ones, and the loved ones or friends need to decide whether to walk away or not. Both having very hard decisions. Some of these people are closing their doors to their children and grandchildren due to, and again, diamonds are not here, fear, and not being willing to come out of the dark for new information. Okay, so what happens if, these people actually do decide to come out of the dark and listen to their loved ones instead of all that they've seen here? Well, that changes this girl, Allegra. She is willing to come out. She is willing to leave that blindfold on, not know what's going to happen, but she's willing to do that and to get out there and take a risk. As you can see, she's got her bow. She's got her bag of something. I'm assuming it's food. Maybe it's rocks, that she can swing around like a weapon. And she's barefooted and she's walking over the water. She is willing to go to all lengths of the earth. We've got the north, south, east, and west here around the heart. And to spread the word. It's a risk, believing the loved ones who have done study outside of that top level of the tower. But this person is willing. And in doing so, some of what was removed of the clubs, the individuality, the ability to speak, the ability to breathe, the individual creativity starts coming back. And she begins breathing again, which connects her as she was meant to be connected previously and always. And then we come to the tower again, and it's realized that being up on that top level of the tower and seeing all this information from basically one singular source, and that would be the powers that be here that have created all this craziness for monetary reasons. Everything's follow the money. The realization comes that, I've been able to go downstairs to get something to eat and back up to my level, and downstairs to use the restroom and back up to my level. But this is a prison. I haven't been outside of this prison for over a year. And, this is also in the place of the heart. Rather than tuning into the heart, it's all been in the head, which is where the diamond is powerful. It's all been in the head. So this became a prison, only it wasn't realized until the risk was taken to believe what loved ones were trying to say all along. And then, down here again to the South Wind card, to realize that south wind is just hot air and has been hot air for over a year. Powerful, absolutely powerful, because there's the money that can put things in certain places and set things up and make it seem very, very real, make it seem dire. But as you can see, we have diamonds here, and diamonds are brilliant. They are shining the light for this risk taker. There is no more darkness. They fully get it now. And part of the problem with this is many people, the fairies believe, want to believe their loved ones, but they've been so captured over the years by what they hear from sources that we've mentioned that it's almost impossible, because they're only accustomed to listening to that, not people. I mean, granted, there's people, that run those things and people that talk on those things, but they're not people in person. When they allow themselves to realize, it may still be almost impossible for them to take this step, the risk-taking step, because nobody wants to believe that they have been duped in such a way. No one. Takes a big person to say, oh wow, I've been absolutely fooled, and to admit it and to move forward from that. Many people will stay locked in. And there's a lock there. There's a couple of locks here. Many people will stay locked in their heart and locked in general, because they won't be able to admit that this has all been, a money thing, all about money, not really about. And as you see here, there's no sickness card whatsoever. There's nothing here to show that there's been any illness whatsoever. Illness would also be indicative of a spade. Nothing here. So that is the fairies' information for this week. It was kind of a go back in time and see how all this started, and then perhaps allow others to see where things could actually be. Take away some of that fear, give back the individuality, ground them again. We can all use a little bit more grounding. So that is it for this week from the fairies. Take what you can from this reading, what works for you, and just disregard what does not. So until next week, take care.